Lowe's corporate office has requested that when any Lowe's store contacts RPS Corporation about parts or service, we direct them to submit their request through the Lowe's service channel under Floor Scrubber Admin. Hi, this will be the operator training video for the Lowe's GTX floor scrubbers. At the end of the day, you should have your scrubber cleaned out, plugged into charge, so when you come in on the next day to go to work, the first thing we should be doing is unplugging the charger and winding up the cord for the onboard charger. Charger's located at the back of the machine. It's encased in a black box to protect it. Basically, I unplug it. So now that is wound up and secured in place with the Velcro strap. Now we're ready to drive, fill the tank up with solution, so we're going to drive this over to the fill area. One thing I want to note is Lowe's machines in your stores will have a safety alarm that beeps while the machine is in operation. We have disabled that alarm for this training session so that I don't have to talk over that sound and everybody can hear what I'm saying. But your store will have a high-pitched beep all the time that it's in operation. So now we're going to fill the machine. The bottom tank is the solution tank. It has 3 ways to fill it. It has a small fill port. If you have a chemical dilution system with a small diameter hose, you can put it in the front fill port. That way you don't have to tip the tank. If you don't have a hose at all, the machine does have a hose in it that you can hook onto any sink to fill your tank. What we're going to use today, because I have a spray hose to fill with, I tip the tank open and there's a large fill area at the back of the tank. So when I shoot the sprayer, I don't get water all over the machine. When I turn the machine on, the machine tests itself and the screen reads central command. Once it's done its safety test, it lights up the operator screen. I can see that my battery discharge indicator says I have a full charge. Right now I'm on a low water setting and I'm on a low scrub pressure. These can be varied with these toggles. The blue one does water level. The black one adjusts more pressure or less pressure on the brushes. There are manager's lockout keys. The machine's going to be set to the right operation for water and for brush pressure, and these keys will be removed from the machine. And now those settings are fixed and you can't change them. To make the machine scrub the floor, now at low pressure and low water flow, I turn on my scrub brushes. You can hear the deck go to the floor. Then I turn on my squeegee and vacuum, and you'll hear the vacuum come on, or not, when I step on the foot pedal. The last switch on the panel with the red boot is forward and reverse. So right now I'm in forward. If I put the switch backwards, the machine will back up. When I put a machine in reverse, it automatically picks up its squeegee tool. When I switch back to forward, the squeegee goes back to the floor. So now I have my water flow set, my brush pressure set, I have my brushes down, my vacuum on, and I'm in forward. When I step on the foot pedal, the machine is going to drive, the brushes will turn, the water will flow, the vacuum will come on, and I am cleaning and drying the floor. Okay, there's a few switches and controls we should know about on the right-hand side of the steering column. The first of which is the lock for the steering tilt pull out on it. As you move the steering, it has detents that will stop the column from moving. You want to find a steering wheel position that is comfortable for you. Next is the horn. That's a safety warning to folks who may be obstructing the aisle. The last is, this is an emergency stop button. So if you're operating the machine and you feel like something's happening that you don't understand, or maybe you feel like the machine is out of control, you push this button. It is a dead stop for the machine, the same as if you had turned the key off. To reset it, it's a quarter turn and it will pop back out. It indicates that it has been triggered with an error code in the dash, 7900. Once I've released the button, to clear the code, I have to turn the key off and back on again. So if you hit the e-stop, you have to do two things to make the machine go. The quarter turn that makes the button pop back out to release the e-stop, and turn the key off and back on to clear the code from the machine. And then you're ready to operate. You step on the pedal and the machine drives. When you're done scrubbing the floor, you're going to drive back to your janitor's closet, and we're going to drain and clean the recovery tank, tidy the machine up for end of days so we can put it on charge overnight. The drain hose is located at the back of the machine, hangs on an Allen bolt, and it has a quarter turn cap to open it up. Once you've opened it, this part of the drain hose is made to be folded so that the water doesn't gush out everywhere, and I can control the water flow when I release into the sink. I lower it to where I want it, point it away from myself, and release. Leave the hose in the drain. I'm going to tip back my recovery tank. We're going to clean out the inside of the tank. First thing we have inside the tank is called a drain saver basket. It is made to capture any debris that we may have vacuumed off the floor that we missed when we dust mopped. This should be emptied into a trash can, rinsed out with your spray hose, and set it aside, because we're going to tip the tank back. With the tank tipped, when I spray in to rinse all the soil out, I can see into the tank and make sure that I get all the built up soil from the floor rinsed out of the tank. If I clean it out while it's wet, everything rinses right out. If you park it overnight, things harden and stick to the tanks, and it gets harder to clean the machine out. So now that I've sprayed it out, I'm going to tip the tank back up. I can put the drain saver back in, and the drain saver can only go in one way. We want to make sure we put it so that the opening where the water comes in is pointed towards the hose where the water comes in. And then we want to make sure this lid, if we're parking overnight, it's offset so the tank aerates overnight. We have another item to check back here on the opposite side of the tank. You can remove the vacuum hose, undo the latch, and under here I have a screen with a float ball in it. And this comes up and closes off the vacuum by closing against this neoprene gasket if the tank is filled with water. So I want to make sure that this screen is clean and that the float ball is actually in the machine, because it serves a very important purpose of protecting the vac motor as the tank gets full of water. So this one's clean, everything looks good. Just in case, I'll give it a spray out. Then I just put it back in the machine, close the lid, latch, and put the vacuum line back on. So now I've cleaned out my recovery tank. I've left the lid cracked open so the tank can aerate while it's parked at night.
Okay, now we're going to check the brushes on the machine. Before you do anything down by the brushes or anything to the machine, you want to make sure that the key is off. We're going to remove this side wiper panel. To do that, loosen the two hand knobs. The side wiper pops off and gives you access to your brush. Now the top of the brush looks like this. So there's a star pattern that has these stainless steel retaining rings. The retaining rings are what hold it onto the machine and keep it from falling off. To drop the brush, simply squeeze these two scissors, which release the retaining rings, and the brush should drop right off, which I'll show you over here. You can spin the brush till you see the scissors, squeeze it, drops off, ready to go. At this time, you want to check your drivers, make sure there's no shrink wrap, banding, or anything else wrapped up on them that can cause any damage or future damage. Check your brushes. If you are running a brush system, it's a good idea to flip them left to right periodically. Some stores use a Dyma-brush system. This system is a little different from brushes. This actually, in the colored part of the blade, has 2,000 grit diamonds impregnated in it. So when operating this brush, you're actually polishing the floor along with cleaning. Now there's 44 blades on here. You would run this type of brush until the color is all the way gone gone down to the white fiberglass part. Once you are there, this brush is no longer functionable, and you need to get a new brush on the machine. To put the brushes on, simply do the reverse process. Squeeze the scissor, lift it up, and it is locked in place. And then slide your side wiper system on. It's the same thing on the other side. This is the right side of the machine. It's a mirror image of the left side to access that brush system. Now we're going to go put it on charge. Your machine is equipped with an external onboard charger. To charge the machine, simply undo the latch on the cord, unravel the cord from the cord wind, and plug it into 110 volts. Now this is an automatic charger, so it's going to start automatically and only charge what the batteries need. There's a couple indicator lights on top of the charger. There's a blue one, which lets you know that it's plugged into 110 volts. And then there's two green lights. The top one will blink while it's charging. And then if all two of those green lights are lit, that means the battery pack is fully charged and is ready for next day of operation.